It's Ra Hogan for the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to be here with the man who is possibly the most pious man in boxing, Muhsin Cason, aka the Muslim boxer.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's ours. I've got to start with your piety. Am I right in thinking you are a Hafiz of Quran?
I am.
Wow. So for the viewers that don't know what that means, you basically are someone who have memorized the entire Quran.
Yes.
Wow. Brother, you're putting us to shame here. You know, there's a lot of Muslim boxers here in the UK.
No, I'm not putting you guys to shame. No. So many people that's better than me, and so many people who know more than me. I'm just trying to make it. That's all.
Well, you're going to be a great inspiration to many of us.
Inshallah.
So you're 28, right?
28. Yeah.
So you probably grew up in the post 9/11 hysteria in America. Wonder what was the Muslim experience like in that era? You growing up?
Fortunately, I don't look the stereotypical Muslim, so I wasn't really bothered. My mom, who dressed her, she dressed, she had the Muslim dress. So if I was around my mom, people would look kind of have a little distant look from it. But for the most part, it wasn't really us that people were looking at. It was more the Arab Muslims who they were looking at. If you looked any part Pakistani or Arab, you were getting looks. But for the most part, I didn't really get a lot of terrorist type of negativity. I just got more of the, you're black. So, post 9/11, I didn't really get a lot of, backlash from it.
Sure. And you grew up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
Got mainly Afro-American community there?
Yes. So I grew up in a predominantly Afro-American community. I went to school in the predominantly Desi community, though.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with that word. What community?
It's basically like people who are from Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Right. Sorry. It's the American pronunciation.
That's American. I guess that's an American term, but Pakistanis don't like to be called Pakis anymore.
Here in the UK, it's a racial slur. But
yes,
I guess in North America it isn't. So
in North America, it's saying Paki is not a racial slur, but it's I guess to them they don't feel comfortable, so they say Desi now or brown.
Okay.
So I just went with it. I'm like, listen, whatever you like. I'm not going to offend nobody. I don't want to offend nobody. So, go ahead and do your thing.
All right. That was very nice of you to concern yourself with their feelings.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody's human, on the day of judgment, I'm religious. So on the day of judgment, we all going to be naked. So I doubt anybody's going to be looking at the color of people's skin. So I got to treat everybody right.
Absolutely. So you had quite a religious upbringing, I take it?
Yeah, literally. My dad was an imam. So it was a lot of more religious than most in the house when it came to Quran, when it came to, reading all the time and praying and things like that. My father surrounded us with a lot of Muslims and a lot of predominantly Muslims. So, we were always around either the masjid or always around some type of Islamic entity.
Mm-hmm. And was it your father that got you started on the memorization of the Quran?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. I had alhamdulillah, I had a really good memory when I was a kid. I had memorized almost the whole juz of Amma when I was like 5. And after that, that's when they wanted me to start, really learning different surahs. Probably about the age of 12. Honestly, I actually did it because I like the attention from it.
Wow.
You know,
Well,
more than I actually liked or understood what I was actually reading.
mm-hmm.
You know, as a kid, my father always made me recite to a lot of people. And I had just come to realization with this probably maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, you know, why I started memorizing the Quran. And so I did it for that. And then, you know, I stuck with it.
Sounds like your experience is more positive than my generation's. I used to hate going to mosque classes at the weekends.
Oh, I hated it too. Trust me, it's no different. I hated it too. It was so the only thing was being an Afro-American Muslim, you're kind of tokenized because I can read Arabic and read and write Arabic, and I sound like, you know, all other Arabs. So it was kind of a tokenization. And that's what I mean by the attention. Okay. You know, the same amount of kids from the Desi communities, Pakistani and things like that, and the Arab communities, they probably read better than me, but it was mainly because I was an Afro-American. And, you know, so, you know, in America, unfortunately, they don't think much of us.
Yeah.
So when you can do something like that, they're like, it's phenomenal. So
I wondered, did you ever experience the beatings at the mosque? Because apparently that was me being from a Desi community. That's how we learned. Yeah, you recite.
What do you guys say? You guys say Desi? What do you guys say?
No, we say Desi.
Desi.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same thing. Come on now, we're on the same thing. They would try, but I just wasn't having it. I did not like it. I never liked it. I just didn't like somebody else hit me with a stick or a pencil or punch me in the back, or, you know, in the Desi community, that's what they do. They're like hitting kids, especially with like twigs.
Yeah.
Yes, it was always, and then they would make you open up your hand like this and, you know, pop your hand. Yeah, I didn't like that, you know. So I was always a rebel, or always rebelled against that. So, you know, I always had a problem.
Can't imagine some little 5'2" Desi imam having much effect on a 6' plus Afro-American kid anyway.
Well, the crazy thing is I got my growth spurt at like 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a small kid when I was younger. I was a pretty small kid. So yeah, I was kind of tiny and fragile, you know, when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
You know,
those imams dodged a bullet then.
Yeah, they dodged a big bullet. If I was 6 feet, oh man, they would have a problem, because I was never scared of them. I was just always like, you know, kind of rebelled against them. But yeah, no, you know, one thing, right? As a kid, you know, you understand or you don't understand, so you kind of have a lot of hate for them. But I appreciate everything that happened, because you know, I'm seeing, you know, a lot of people who don't have discipline or have so many problems as they become adults. And, you know, I really appreciate, you know, those little incidents where, you know, because I kind of stopped myself from doing something stupid before I need anybody else to yell at me. So I appreciate those moments.
Yeah, I guess it's the sort of thing you appreciate when you're older.
Yeah, you have to.
So when did you start the boxing then? And was your dad
21.
Did he approve?
Yeah, he approved, because so I'm not the first one. Most people know that my brother is Hassan Rahman. So because of that, they were like, okay, well, you know what you need to do in order to get there. There was a lot of doubt because I was so old. But for the most part, I was already in shape. I had, you know, I loved the gym. I loved going to the gym. I just never did boxing. So, you know, it's just something different. So when I said I was going to do it, they just said, well, you better put you know, your all to it. And that's what I did.
So, what did you achieve much as an amateur? Did you have much of an amateur career?
No, I had 19 fights as an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
I won 16 of them. I won the Golden Gloves twice. I won the state Golden Gloves twice. Regionals. Actually, I won the regional Golden Gloves. Me and Rolando Rollies was in that same Golden Gloves.
Oh, wow. So this is in Nevada when you moved to Vegas. Okay. Yep. Well, so
say it again?
You have got a good amateur pedigree. I mean, not the best. We're not talking Lomachenko, but it's decent.
No. 19 fights, I got some pressure with it. But, yeah, I definitely learned. I had more experience from sparring than I did from fights. Mm-hmm. Sparring with world champions the minute I got into boxing really gave me a learning curve for boxing. So you've been a pro for 4 years now, 10-0, 7 KOs. So building a bit of a momentum. Have you spent your whole pro career in Philadelphia? No, I've spent 2 years in Philadelphia. I spent 5 years in Vegas.
Okay, and who's your coach now? Your pro coach?
Rasheem Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you developing a classic Philly type counter-punching style?
Somewhat, but I'm actually, I'm kind of going into my own thing. It's kind of a Philly boxing, but aggressive Philly boxing.
Uh-huh.
I still like to come forward. I still like to, I'm learning counter-punching, but I'm still a good jab always wins the fight. So more of an aggressive fighting type in order to get me to, the victory. So I wouldn't say counter-punching, but yeah, boxing / fighter, aggressive fighter.
If there was a fighter you look to try and emulate, who would you say it'd be?
I would say Pernell Whitaker with Holyfield.
Okay, interesting. I mean, two exceptional fighters there. Of course,
as far as the defense, and I'll elaborate more on it. As far as the defense, I try my best to get my defense right, make sure that my distance is good, not try to fall over my punches, and also always want to think.
Mm-hmm.
Always want to be able to think. But as far as the aggression and coming forward, that's where that comes from, the Holyfield part.
Was the last great American cruiserweight, of course. Yeah, not a bad name to try and follow.
I got something to live up to, so.
Absolutely. According to BoxRec, which isn't perfect, but it's the only independent measure we've got, you're ranked 5th amongst US cruiserweights.
Yes.
You've still only done 6-rounders. How much longer do you think before you're going to go for titles of some sort? Maybe move up to 10 rounders.
So we are looking for some. We have some fights in the works. Hopefully that was my last 6-rounder. I don't want to go 6 rounds anymore. I believe that 6 and 8 and 10, kind of the same thing. So I'm just waiting on that moment. A lot of unfortunately, I am a high risk, low reward right now for the time being, but that will change. So I'm just waiting. A lot of people don't want to fight.
Sure. If I could throw a few names at you, tell me what you think of them. Someone like Johnny Langston, he's got the NABA title. That a
would
potential
love
target?
To fight any of these guys. I told Okolie in Saudi Arabia, if he has the belt when I get there, it's mine.
Oh, you bumped into Lawrence?
Yeah,
Okolie.
Lawrence Okolie.
He's my homeboy. He's actually local to me. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I told him. We were talking about sparring at first.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's like, what are you going to do if I hit you with this right hand? I'm like, I'm not worried. You got to hit me with the right hand. Just talking, kind of just boxing talk. But, I definitely told him, like, listen, if you have a belt by the time I get there, that's mine. Thanks for holding it for me.
So you do follow the the scene, both at
Oh
home
yeah,
and abroad. So,
I pay attention to everything.
here in the UK, the cruiserweight division's red hot. There's Lawrence, as you mentioned. There's another London lad, Richard
You got Breedis.
Riakporhe.
Yeah, Riakporhe. You got Breedis. Yeah.
Breedis is from Latvia.
Yeah.
Lawrence wants him next. I don't think Lawrence will stay at cruiserweight for too much longer, so I don't think you'll run into him soon. But
he's too big.
Him and Richard Riakporhe, they're both huge. I mean,
I don't think either one of them are going to stay at cruiserweight. Honestly, their body frames are way too big in order to stay at cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys are 6'5".
Yeah,
they have cruiserweight. They have heavyweight height. So
yeah, 30 years ago, they'd have beaten heavyweights. So
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
and any particular fighters that you want to call out, or you'd fancy a piece of?
You know, right now, I don't really. There's no particular names. It's just anybody who comes my way. Whatever. My manager has for me. My manager Amr Abdullah. Whatever name they put on my record, that's what I'll go for. I want to make sure. One thing is, I don't have the experience for a 10-rounder to say that I want those 10-rounders. Mm-hmm. So once I get there, yeah, I want anybody. It doesn't matter. Whatever they put in my way, or whatever they put my way in order for me to get that title, I want it. So I'm really not calling out any names, but for the most part, whoever's there.
Sure. You mentioned sparring there. You've been getting any good quality sparring? Any big names that I might have heard of?
So I spar Boots. I actually spar. There's not a lot of cruiserweights here, so I spar smaller guys. I've sparred Julian Williams. J-Rock.
I know.
Boots, Ennis, Jerron Ennis. I sparred a few people, but most of the time I usually got to travel to spar. Like I just got out of camp with Kovalev. That was really good. Yeah. But I've sparred the majority of the people. I've always sparred somewhere else. Jake Paul, people like that. People who are bigger, with a little bit more weight.
Yeah, I've seen in your Instagram you'd been over to Puerto Rico to assist Jake Paul with his training.
Yeah, I was out in Puerto Rico for just about a month and a half, or maybe 5 weeks. I was there helping him train for the fight. So, getting him ready for what is his name? I keep forgetting his name, but yeah, for his last fight.
Okay, so I mean, he gets all sorts of hate because of what he's done in the game. You've seen him obviously up close in terms of his boxing, his work ethic. What do you think? Can he achieve something in this game? Can he beat a real boxer at some point? How far can he go?
With the right people, I think he can go far as money. Honestly, I don't think I wouldn't say he's going to be no top cruiserweight. Mm-hmm. He has a long way to go. Jake works really hard. Jake is a very hard worker. And as far as, marketing, he brings a lot of new people and new faces to the sport. So I will give him that. As far as his boxing skills, I would say he's a good amateur. He has good amateur skills. He could beat a lot of 4-rounder people. Mm-hmm. But, once you get into that upper scale or upper tier of fighters, these guys have been fighting for a long time. And Jake has power. Jake can really, probably throw with the best of them, but boxing is it's levels to it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, well, coming in. Say it again.
That's interesting to get the insight from someone who's actually been in there, because he's created a lot of debate. Some people say, yeah, actually he could beat some decent fighters, but
I think he could beat. So I'll say this, right? Jake has more experience than I do. Mm-hmm. He's fought in front of more people. He's fought all of his fights are what? Most of the fights are 8-rounders.
Mm-hmm.
So he's even fought more round. He has an 8-rounder on his record faster than I do.
Sure.
You know, when you really think of it, you know, pressure can get to some people. You know, fighting in front of a big crowd like that. Jake knows what to do in a big crowd. Most fighters don't get to that big crowd until later. So that does play a big part. And, you know, just the pressure. But like I said, I hope he does well. You know, I wish nothing but the best for him. I appreciate what they do. That's the reason him and KSI are the reason why I started doing, you know, what I do online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, KSI majority, he's the reason why I started looking at him. I watched him and I'm like, I can do this. I can try to do it. So, you know, props to them. You know, I wish nothing but the best for him. But, you know, yeah, when they start calling out some big names, that will be interesting.
Is it a measure of how much they bring that Bradis actually wanted to fight with him, established world champion? And
no, I would never. Yeah, that would not be good. It's amazing. You know, he's a cash cow.
Yeah.
You know, Jake Paul is literally, what is he? He's making top athlete money. He
earns more than most world champions do. So.
He earns more than majority boxers. Yeah. You're right, most world champions. And so when you look at it, it's like, yeah, why not fight him? Low risk, high reward. And the sport has been changing so much, you know. You got Anderson Silva fighting. Mm-hmm. You got other people fighting. This never would have happened back in the day. But, you know, boxing changes and evolves over time. So, you know, if he does give that fight, I definitely will be interested in seeing how he does. I doubt that he's going to do too well.
Don't criticize him too much because he might want to call you back in for sparring.
Hey, listen, one thing, you know, I'm always honest. Like I say, Jake is a very, you know, outside of the social media, that guy is a phenomenal guy. So, like I said, I wish nothing but the best for him. But I always got to be honest with you know, with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he'll respect you more for it.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of your own career, what's it like as a novice pro in terms of earning your own living? Because here in the UK, for most boxers, pros, it's just an expensive hobby. They've got to have another job on the side. I mean, are you able to box full time, or do you have another job?
Instagram.
Really?
Instagram is what pays the bills right now. Social media is what pays the bills. Boxing is a broke man sport. People don't know that, and it's difficult sometimes because people assume that you are rich. Mm-hmm. You know, they see the followers, they see the people that you're with, they see the notoriety, and they equate that to what's in your pockets. Mm-hmm. And people don't really understand that, you know, boxing is most boxers don't see those $1 million. Majority of the boxers, you just see the ones on TV, and you're like, oh, okay. But just remember, there is 2,000 people in that one weight class. One weight class, it's about 2,000 people in that one weight class, and sometimes more. And so you have to really understand, you know, you have to be in boxing in order to know that. But boxing is a broke man sport. You know, if it wasn't for my wife, you know, I probably would have to get another job.
Wow. You know? I can imagine, especially in the US, you've got private healthcare. I mean, how does that work?
Taxes are crazy. Private healthcare taxes are just off the chain. They fluctuate depending on the economic structure. You know, everything changes. So yeah, you have to you go move with the times. But just like boxing, you got to move with the times. So
absolutely,
it's definitely hard. But you know, I have a set goal to when I want to retire. If I can do it, and make the money that I want to make in boxing, I'm definitely going to do it. If not, then, you know, alhamdulillah, I was able to say that, you know, I did what I wanted to do for a while, and now I got to go on to the next thing. But I definitely want to become a world champion for sure.
All right. Well, inshallah, I'm sure we're all going to be cheering you along all the way.
Oh, well, pray for me. I definitely want to come over to the UK. I would love to fight in the UK.
Oh, we would love to have you here. Like I said, there's a whole lot of cruiserweights who want some who want some smoke. So
oh yeah, I would love to come over to the UK and go fight. Man, that would be. I'd love to show up over there.
Yeah,
because, you know, I definitely think I would be a force to reckon with if I went over there. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
We got the best fans over here. You know,
I love it. Listen, KSI put me on when he shared that story with me, and I got a lot of fans from over in the UK, and I appreciate him for that. But yeah, I love. Everybody keeps telling me, man, you got to come over to the UK. You can stay at my house. You can stay here. You can stay here. And I'm like, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the love over there. The UK is definitely A1 for fans. Appreciate those. All
right. Ask Amir to sort it out. Get Muhsin over.
Let's do it.
All right, Muhsin, is there anything you want to add?
You know, follow me on Instagram, make sure and, you know, support the journey. Look forward to me coming over and once I get to the point where I'm an established professional and ranked top in the world, just look for me to do some damage in the sport.
All right. Okay, Muhsin, thanks for being to the Boxing Voice, and we look forward to following your journey.
Yeah.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.